Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Sean Richards, Solutions Consultant here at Tiled. We're so excited about the release of our new builder, and we wanted to give you a quick walkthrough and orientation for the new features, enhancements to existing ones, and what may have simply moved or been renamed in Builder 2.0. Before we get started, we'll cover the process of migrating existing microapps into 2.0 later on, but you can expect full feature parity and performance of your already published microapps as you bring them into the new builder. So let's dig in. First, we'll start with your pages. The timeline of pages remains the same. However, in Builder 1.0, if you had any page states, those would show up on the page timeline. However, you'd have to click down underneath the main page canvas to access them. Now in Builder 2.0, page states have been renamed subpages, and they'll show up as you expand your menu. From here, you can duplicate subpages, rename them, delete them, and rearrange them as needed. Any existing page states that you had from Builder 1.0 will automatically convert to subpages in the new builder. Part of the reason to free up some real estate underneath the canvas was for the addition of, drumroll please, a canvas zoom. You can zoom in and out as needed to see if something's lined up. You can also hold spacebar to see the glove icon and pan around as needed. To return back to the standard view, you can press reset. Next, you can now rename your microapp by simply double-clicking into the name in the upper left, instead of having to go to the microapp settings to make your change. That being said, all of your settings are still available, from the cover image to password protection and setting personalized fields. Your adaptive formats remain in virtually the same place to toggle between or add on. Now for your tiles. They move from the right-hand side in Builder 1.0 to the center nav at the top in 2.0. Simply drag and drop your tile onto the canvas like you always have, or a new addition is to point and click, allowing you to draw where you want your tile to go. Your core tiles are listed first from hotspots, to text, to images, in the artist formerly known as the gallery tile, which has simply been renamed to carousel, video tile, and as you click more elements, you'll see your scroll, embed, script, and Lottie animation tiles. Now in Builder 1.0, most of your configuration would happen in this flyout menu that followed your tile around the canvas. Now, once a tile has been added to the canvas, you'll use the Properties panel on the right-hand side to adjust all of your settings. We're super excited about the enhancements to the text tile, revamped to support rich text editing. Now you have more freedom as far as varying font weights, alignment, line heights, letter spacing, bullets and ordered list formatting, and more. Now, in addition to formatting, let's say that you wanted to make a text field personalizable or dynamic in Builder 1.0. You'd have to go to Microapp Settings, Personalization, and set your dynamic text field here before it would even show up. Now you can create the personalizable field in line on your page canvas. Simply toggle over from static to personalizable and create your text field. Then apply your formatting. You can still go to Microapp Settings to set your personalizable fields as well. Lastly, with the text tile, in Builder 1.0, if you wanted this text to change color on hover, you'd have to bring them in as image assets, similarly to these buttons. So you'd have to have one in white and one in gray or black. Now in Builder 2.0, you have the ability to set a hover event where you can select an effect and set the color that you want it to show up as on hover. We've also added these same effects to our image tile, in addition to a few other quality of life improvements. Say you brought in an image like this button, and you wanted to round the corners of it and maybe add a drop shadow. Instead of having to go back to Figma, PowerPoint, or wherever you're designing this from, it's now available within the Properties panel for you to adjust rounded corners and adding a shadow. One addition that might have caught your eye is the addition of a Layers panel, which in Builder 1.0, we know it was pretty cumbersome to have to go from front to back to back to back to front to rearrange your layers. In the new Layers panel, you have the ability to select a specific layer to make changes to your settings, hide a layer, as well as lock layers, along with duplicating and renaming them. Just in case you were wondering, if you rename your layer, it's not going to change the name of the asset. Speaking of assets, you might remember in Builder 1.0 that the Assets panel could get pretty shrunk down and you could zoom out on your window to review a few more, but it was definitely a bit of an annoyance. In the new builder, you now have the ability to expand this menu to view more assets, and there are also new filters for you to manage your assets. Viewing assets that are in used versus ones that aren't, sort by date and name, and also view assets across different adaptive formats. So if you had a video background that you wanted to use for desktop and mobile, instead of having to upload that asset twice into each one, you have the ability to select the same asset to use. Now, for our overlays or pop-ups, in Builder 1.0, those were in the bottom corner of the Pages timeline. However, in the new builder, those have now moved over just to the right of Assets. And similarly to your subpages, any overlays that you have configured will automatically convert over into 2.0. Previewing your project still remains the same in the upper right-hand corner, and maybe more of a muscle memory change than anything. For publishing, that's now in the top right, as opposed to in Builder 1.0 in the bottom right. In the new Publish modal, you'll be prompted to set or edit your cover image, which you can also still do in the micro app settings. Before we wrap, there might be one more thing on your mind. How do I start using 2.0? If you're creating a new micro app, you'll see the option to choose between the two builders. If you have an existing micro app in Builder 1.0 that you want to see how it translates over into the new builder, there's a blue call to action down at the bottom saying Edit in Builder 2.0. When clicked, you'll see two options. The first is to duplicate, which for new 2.0 users we strongly recommend. Like a Google Doc, it creates a separate carbon copy of your original micro app so that you can continue using 1.0 for the builder at any time, just in case you're not so sure you want to fully migrate it over yet. The second is to convert it, which will maintain the full history of your share links and historical analytics. However, the critical piece is that you will not be able to go back to using the old builder to make edits to your micro app. Though we know once you start using Builder 2.0, you're going to love it. We hope this was a helpful introduction, but if you have any questions on the new builder or migrating your existing micro apps to 2.0, don't hesitate to reach out to support@tile.co or set up a call to talk through the migration.